watch out here on that left-hand side. That's all right though, because it does look like we're out in some African elephant territory back there on that right-hand side. Now we can tell this is an African elephant because of his ears. They're actually going to be shaped like the continent itself of Africa. Now, when our elephants flap their ears like that, I promise they're not trying to fly away like Dumbo. They're just trying to cool off. They can cool off over 15 degrees just by flapping their ears like that. And our African elephants are going to be the largest land mammal in the whole entire world. They can weigh in at over 13,000 pounds when they are fully grown. But despite their size, our elephants are actually going to be afraid of bees. That's because they have really, really sensitive skin, and getting stung by a bee would hurt them quite a lot. Now, our elephants are super smart and actually have really great memories, so they can recognize the sound of a bee buzzing, notifying the rest of their herd, if they're traveling in one, that there are bees in the area. This is so they know to stay clear until those bees are gone and it is safe for them to return. Now, speaking of herds of elephants, I know we only saw one male and even a lot of fruit, but as we come through some of our red clay pits out here, you are going to see up ahead on our right-hand side that there are some text marks out there. That's because red clay actually acts as a really great resource for our elephants as well. It kind of acts as a multivitamin for them. Contains a bunch of extra vitamins and minerals, and it helps them to fill some nutritional gaps that might just exist within their diets. Water for those dry, hot drought months and seasons on the savannah. These baobab trees can grow to be over 100 feet wide and 100 feet tall, storing over 10,000 gallons of water in just one single baobab tree. They're also some of the only trees in the world where every single layer of their bark is through and dig those tusks out to those baobab trees, kind of acting as a watering spout. Those trees can actually regenerate themselves and fix themselves to help provide food and water to animals for hundreds, if not thousands of years to come. You'll find most of our herd out there on that left-hand side. You might be able to sneak a peek at those ridge lines on the outer sides of their ears as well. Those are going to be massive blood vessels that help to keep our elephants cool when they flap their ears like that. I can sit here and stare at our elephants all day long, but we do have to continue along here. Now, we are actually going to be heading out to our watering hole to come and check out our flamboyance of greater flamingos. These greater flamingos are beautiful. They're actually the lightest pink of the flamingos. They'll hatch with gray feathers that will slowly come out over the course of about 6 months to a year. And that pink is simply going to come with time. It comes with something called beta-carotene in their diet. Their diets do consist primarily of shrimp and brine. So yes, the same thing that makes your shrimp pink is actually the same thing that makes our flamingos pink. If you happen to see any of our flamingos out there standing on one leg, it's a great way they're going to help to thermoregulate themselves or control their body temperatures. They'll lift one leg up, hold it nice body, and the closer that leg is held to their bodies, the more heat they can actually hold onto. We are slowly heading around to our mud pits or mud wallows here. Speaking of thermoregulation, well, it's a great natural resource for a lot of our animals. It's a great cooling agent and sunblock for animals like those white rhinos that we'll find up ahead. We'll come around to get a closer program. These babies, we'll talk a little bit more about that later on today, but you might see each of our rhinos' ears about 180 degrees here on either side of their head. Rhinos have pretty poor vision. They can only see clearly about 3 to 5 feet directly in front of them. Anything beyond that is pretty tough for them to spot, but they do have a really intensive hearing to make up for it, being able to hear things that are going on even if it's meant to live in Gobi rocks. They're these flat little tortoises with sharp spikes on the outer sides of their shells. They live in between all little nooks and crannies out here to help better protect themselves from some animals and predators like the lions that might be hanging out around here. Females do. Your males are the ones that can protect their young in territory. You might notice there our male's mane is going to be much darker in color than the rest of his coat. It's a great way to tell how old our lions are. As they get older, their manes will get larger and darker. So it is a really great way to guess who's in charge of the pride, as typically your oldest and wisest lion is going to be top cat. Now, those manes are also a great way to help protect massive blood vessels and their airway if they ever get into a fight with some other male lion that might be coming around trying to steal their pride from them. But if you happen to be here tonight around sundown, definitely make sure to keep those ears peeled. If you think you're hearing a lion's roar, you very well might be. Those roars of theirs can actually be heard from over 5 miles away. So make sure to keep those ears peeled, and their large set of tusks to dig out the burrow holes you'll see down below, although they will work smarter and not harder. So if another burrow has been abandoned, they will use that instead of making one themselves. Because why do all that work if they don't have to? Now, there are going to be some ostriches just off on that right-hand side here. Now, ostriches are the largest bird in the world. We can tell these are females because of their gray feathers. Males are actually going to have black feathers. Male ostriches will also stand about 3 feet taller than your females will. Females are going to stand in at about 6 or 7 feet tall. Males will stand in closer to 9 or 10 feet tall. Ostriches are the only two-toed bird in the world. It's believed to be why they're so fast, reaching speeds of about 45 miles an hour. Now, you might see a small nest of ostrich eggs off on that right-hand side. Those ostrich eggs are incredible. They're the largest eggs of not only any bird, but any animal in the whole entire world. Those eggs are going to weigh in at about 3 to 4 pounds each, and they are incredibly strong. So strong, in fact, that a human adult can actually stand on them without them breaking. They can easily withstand weights of well over 200 pounds. They're going to provide things like milk and cheese to the farmer and the villagers. These goats are also just super duper adorable, and who wouldn't want to have these little guys as a pet? You might notice their big old pot bellies, which is super important to housing their 4 stomachs. That's right, you heard me, 4 stomachs. I know, I'm jealous too, it must be nice. And if you notice that yellow triangular box, it's going to be hanging out here on that front lawn. It's actually something that we call a bee fence. Now, if you remember, I mentioned earlier that our elephants are afraid of bees, and at one point in time, not too long ago, elephants and farmers didn't have a very good relationship. That's because elephants would accidentally stampede through farmland, destroying crops. It didn't make those farmers too happy, and it's really sad. But also, of course, those incredible elephants that we've seen out there today as well. There are actually some really great ways that you at home can help to protect our animals as well, like recycling your old electronic devices. Our devices are actually going to contain a mineral called coltan, and coltan mining poses a huge threat to habitat loss for animals like those elephants and even our white rhinos and okapi. So just by bringing those devices back to your local electronics store, you'd like to recycle them, especially if they're no longer being used anymore, and even more so if they're no longer working. This is actually a very simple and super easy way to help save a lot of those really amazing animals we've seen out there. Now, our time is just beginning to come to a close here. Now, I do want to thank you so much for